last couple of years we've had a lot of customers, a lot of gardeners interested in doing some compost tea, and we just didn't really know what to tell them because we didn't have any experience with it. So we started experimenting and trying it to see how it works, and it's amazing how it works with plants. It really energizes the soil and really gets the plants to pick up nutrient and just makes them just thrive. And so we've figured out a process how you can do your own compost tea at home. It's really easy to do, and all it takes is a pump, air stone, and a 5-gallon bucket of water, and just the right ingredients to add to the water. So I've got all those ingredients right here. A company that we found that makes a really easy tea bag is this company called Extreme Gardening. They have a lot of really neat natural products. They do a lot with mycorrhiza. They do beneficial nitrogen fixing microbes, but then they also do these tea brews, and they're really easy to do. So inside this packet there's about 10 tea bags, and then it's also got a fertilizer packet in there to feed the microbes. What the compost tea really is inside this bag right here you've got worm compost. And the worm compost is full of all kinds of natural microbes and microbacteria and microorganisms. There we go. And there's thousands in here, and what you do is when you brew it in the water, it takes those microbes and microorganisms, the thousands, and they start to multiply, and they multiply so much that when you're done with your compost tea, you've got millions of microbes and microorganisms in there. So they need something to feed on. So the microbes and microorganisms that are in this package, they need a little bit of food. So the food that you put in there with it, they call it the tea activator, is in this little package right here. And the tea activator has humates and fulvic and humic acids in there. It's got all kinds of rock minerals. It's got all the nutrient. They usually put like seaweed extract in there as well, and it's got all the nutrient that those microbes need to feed on to really breed and to take off like crazy. So you take a 5-gallon bucket and you put 3 gallons of water in there. So these tea bags will make about 3 gallons of compost tea, and you take that and you drop your tea bag and your activator inside the water, and then you take just a small air pump, and we've got these little small air pumps here at the store, very inexpensive, really easy to use, and you take your air pump and just a little bit of 1/4-inch line tubing, and you attach that to your air pump. And this isn't going to circulate the water, it's just going to pump air into the water. So for it to brew properly, it really needs air added into the water. So basically it's just like using an air pump in your fish tank. We're just going to add air into the water with the air stone. So you take your air stone. This is a little bit larger air stone than what I would use for this pump, but it should work out just fine. And so you take the air stone and you put it down in your water with your compost tea and your activator bag. And then we're going to plug that in, and I'll show you how the bubbles come up. There we go. Can you see the bubbles coming up from the air stone? So it's going to take about 24 hours. You want those bubbles to just saturate the water all the way through. And so after about 24 hours, the water with the tea bag and the activator in there is going to start to change color. So the compost tea is going to release all those microbes and microorganisms into the water, and then by aerating the water, adding the air to it, it's going to make them just multiply like crazy. And so you let it sit for about 24 hours, maybe a little bit longer. You could go maybe 30 hours if you want to go a little extra time. But the microbes and the microorganisms only live for a certain amount of time. So once they're brewed and they're ready to go, you've got to use your compost tea up. And like I said, it'll basically supercharge your soil so that your plants can pick up and utilize water and pick up and utilize nutrient better. You'll actually see your plants just take a jump in growth and really start to produce. Last year we used it on some of our hanging baskets that were starting to decline towards the end of the year, and they were starting to look really bad. They'd been attacked by insects and they got dried out too much. We started using the compost tea on them, and all of a sudden they just burst into flower again and just took off like crazy. So your finished compost tea should look something like this. So we brewed some earlier, and it should look kind of a brownish color. So And you see the color right there. Sometimes it comes out a little bit darker, sometimes it's a little bit lighter. But the compost tea, once it's finished, it's got those millions of microbes and microorganisms in it. And you would just water your plants with it. You can get it on the plants, usually about a cup to 2 cups per plant. Like if you're doing a tomato plant, you just pour that on the ground around the plant and let it just supercharge the soil. And all of a sudden your plants will just be healthy and growing like crazy, be able to pick up and utilize all the nutrient that they're looking for. So if you want to do your own compost tea, you can come in and get the parts for it. And like I said, all you need is a pump, an air stone, and the tea bags, along with a 5-gallon bucket of water and some and just a little bit of time to brew that. Or else we'll be brewing it here at Anderson Seed and Garden every Saturday. So every Saturday morning you can stop in and pick up some pre-brewed compost tea to make your plants grow like crazy.